moderate because it has not been actually updated in the last almost 30 years. And of course, you will agree with me, even the United Nations Regional Center for Peace and Disarmament in Africa have alerted us that in their report that out of about 500 million illegal arms circulating in West Africa at the moment, about 350 million are in Nigeria here. That is their own report, which I believe is authentic. Of course, because of that, we also were informed that because of the crisis and wars in countries like Libya and Mali, most of those firearms have found their ways in Nigeria, and also because of unresolved conflicts in Niger Delta and some part of the eastern part of Nigeria and other region. Because of that, we believed the crisis we're having in this country, considering the fact that we are facing a lot of crises of insecurity in this country, and you will agree with me, a lot of illegal firearms have been discovered in the hands of a lot of people in this country who are criminals, and of course some are bandits. We believe the penalties, particularly the sanctions, must be updated to meet the global best practices. Of course, you know what, when I say global practices, simply because we believe the penalties are very little. If you go to the current act, which we are trying to amend, some penalties are very low, some as little as 10,000, some even 100,000, and the imprisonment are really, really very low also in terms of the severity of the punishment. And I believe the only way we can be able to deter those elements who are breaking these laws, who are also moving around with illegal firearms, is to be able to come up with steeper penalties. And as a sponsor of this bill, you don't have the monopoly. Of course, that is why we are subjecting this very important bill to public hearing, where we're going to invite general public and the relevant authorities to come and also make their own contributions and their inputs. This is a very sensitive issue, which of course we're also going to involve the security agencies in this country. You will agree with me. It is also true that the 8th Assembly also had similar bill, which was passed but was not assented. So we're trying to bring all the relevant government agencies, the security agencies, all the stakeholders together to find a common position on this issue, because we know every patriotic Nigeria will support this bill. It's not a matter of debate. It's not a matter of, it's not a controversial, but it's important. That is my position. Thank you very much.
The nations, hold on, please.
Okay, you want me to answer this? You want me to answer this? I'm sure this is your own opinion. And I'm sitting here, I believe, of course, like I said, we are going to invite a lot of other major stakeholders just like you to be able to also hear their own opinion. But for us, when I read my lead debate, I was relying on facts. Like I always said, when it comes to issue of security, we don't consider opinions, we consider facts. So, and I also, in last week in our major debate on the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, you also maybe listening carefully to my own contribution, where I made it clear. I mean that issue of security is not politics. We must be careful. We do not have to grandstand when it comes to issue of politics. Our issue of insecurity is not politics. So we have to differentiate these two. We don't come here to score cheap political points using politics, using insecurity. We have to be careful. So my position all the time is that we are leaders. We have to differentiate between politics and insecurity crisis we're having in this country. And I believe the only way we can achieve peace in our own society, we have to talk as leaders. That's the most important thing. So irrespective of where we come from, irrespective of party affiliation, that is the most important thing. So I want to focus on the issue of facts. And what we are talking here is not personal opinion. We can talk about opinion when it comes to issue of other subject matter. But issue of insecurity, I think we need to be cautious. That is why I also want to urge journalists sitting here that you have responsibility and you have a major role to play in bringing peace to our own society. And I believe we are even the most important segment of our society that need to lead in bringing peace and harmony in our own society. So we just have to be very cautious and careful when we're talking about the issue of insecurity in our own country. And of course, when the United Nations Regional Center for Peace and Disarmament in Africa came with these facts, they have their own statistics and it was verified. And we must be very, very worried that our country have about 350 million illegal arms within West Africa. And the whole other countries in West Africa have only about 150 million. That's over 70%. So I think it calls for a lot of concern for every patriotic Nigerian. Thank you very much. I said it in my lead debate. When you're coming with the bill, the reason probably must have been because in the 8th Assembly, I believe it was really a very good bill, like I said in my only debate. And of course, maybe the problem is not carrying all the relevant institutions along. You see, in my own bill, I made it clear that we're not only talking about coming with steeper penalties, but we come with provisions in the Act where we have to destroy, that's destruction of illegal firearms. And how do you do it? You have to be specific. How are you going to be specific? It has to be the responsibility of the Office of the National Security Advisor. And that means all the relevant security agencies must make their own input because every agency has responsibility. And for me, it's a matter of working together. It's a matter of also having to have a lot of inputs from all the relevant stakeholders. When you have that and you are working at least on the same page, you will have this bill assented by the President. In this assembly, not long, I came with a bill. Can you allow me to learn, please? In this very assembly, you ask a question, you must listen. In the last assembly, no, not long, last year, I came with a bill here. Some people challenged me that the bill was not updated in the last 29 years. That's the Warfare Act. That has to do with the bank and other financial institutions. But I took the challenge. Today, it was assented by Mr. President in November last year. So I'm used to these kind of challenges, and I can tell you the only way to achieve things like this is to carry everybody along, including you, the journalist. You have to be part of this thing, so that you don't continue to come with sensational headlines tomorrow, because that will also affect the public, because people rely on what you publish. So that is why you have a role to play too in the public hearing. You come with your own memo, we'll look into it. And by the grace of God, this is not about personal interest. It's about our country. And if you are patriotic, you must support this bill. Thank you. So that I will help other people not to repeat the question. And you too, you did not read this lead debate. Because in paragraph 5, if you want me to read it to you, I made it abundantly clear that we have to have a kind of a ceremony. Maybe you do read the bill. You know, sometimes I want to, because I work also in the past as advisor to the President of Nigeria on Public Affairs, where I handle the intermedia houses in Nigeria. That's why I'm conversant with this thing. So what I'm trying to say here is that to establish a comprehensive, that's objective number 2, to establish a comprehensive and coordinated disarmament and arms destruction ceremony for Nigeria through the Office of National Security Advisor to ensure that confiscated illegal firearms do not re-enter the society is a second objective. It happens in other countries, both developed and developing countries. It's not happening in this country because the act is obsolete. We're trying to amend it. So that's the second objective here. When you go to the other objectives, you will agree with me. It's not a controversial bill. It's a bill that you can go home to and start working toward how do we make it a reality. Thank you. It's a good question. You know why it's a good question? because maybe you also, again, missed my contribution on the floor of the Senate last week. I'm sure you are not there. You were not there. If you are there, it was reported virtually in all the major media houses in Nigeria, both electronics and print media. You must have missed it, but let me also at least listen. So let me tell you, when you listen to my own contribution, I'm not coming here only as a politician. Maybe you don't know me. I was a civil rights activist in this country. I fought for the informal democracy in Nigeria. I was detained by military, police, and SSS, and detained several times by the military leadership in Nigeria. I pay my dues. And I'm here not only as a politician, but as a Nigerian. That was the reason why on the floor of the Senate I said, I was even blaming the politicians, all the politicians, including myself, that we have responsibility as leaders to be cautious, to not mix politics with insecurity. Nobody is dodging this. That is what I'm telling you here today. As I was blaming the politician, I'm also blaming the media. But I'm not generalizing. There may be good media guys, and there certainly you have to find bad ones. And I'm saying, look, let's forget about where we come from. Let's talk about Nigeria. Because when there's no Nigeria, there won't be anybody sitting here. Thank you very much. I think I've answered everything. Thank you.